Shaw. He has a lot of experience gaffing. He gaffed for a senior project Straighties last semester. He's been on a lot of projects. He knows his stuff. He's been on a professional shoot this summer. And so he has a lot of experience with this. He's going to show you what to do with the light kits, and then you'll all be able to check it out. So, there's a sign-in sheet. So make sure you sign this, or you don't get credit for being here.
My name is Vernon. I'm a second semester cinematography major here. Helping me is Josh Barrett. He lives here actually. He's a third semester cinematography major. The best way to get experience in making movies is to actually be on set, and it might not be for all of you, but one thing to shoot for would to not be a PA. So to do that, you kind of have to learn some specialization. So that's what I'm going to be teaching you today. We're going to be going over some really simple grip work stuff, mostly safety. I'm going to be teaching you guys how to set C-stands, set up lights, throw cable, wrap cable, and I think we're doing a small lighting demo. I don't know how much we can do out here with one outlet. So first of all, I'm going to need 5 volunteers.
Yeah, I'll volunteer.
Oh, wow.
Hey, I raised my hand first. You gotta pick me.
Learn with this guy. What's your name? Jordan, what's up?
If you pick him, you have to take
guys. And then let's get a girl in here, and you too, please. Okay, so what we're going to do is if I could have everyone kind of move off to the side, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking everything out from inside out to here. I'm going to be showing you how to stage them correctly, okay?
So are we grunt work or what?
Yes, you guys are my grips. What you're going to do is you want to keep your hand over the arm like this, so you don't get pinched, because if you keep it like there and you run into something, you break your fingers. Keep it right there, keep the center of balance on your shoulder. Alright, this is how you properly carry a C-stand outside or wherever you have to carry it. You want to keep your hand over the arm right here so as not to pinch yourself, right here, or break a finger. So keep it right there, keep the center of balance on your shoulder. Can I see another C-stand? So if you keep it probably like that, you can hold 2 or 3 or 4, depending on how strong you are. Okay, so what we're going to be doing next is soldering. So if you guys can stick with me on this one, we're going to loosen the knuckle right here. Got that? Yeah. And then we're going to be You good? Yeah. And then we're going to be twisting it counterclockwise until it locks in like that. C-stands are used for anything and everything from cutting light to holding flags to there's a really interesting thing you can do when you're supposed to drop something on a mark. You have a C-stand right there, put your wrist right there, and you'll drop it on the mark every time. So it just has a multitude of use. When you're on someone's really nice hardwood floor, thank you, Josh, you put these things, I call them crash pads. What do you call them? Just
Are you talking about furniture pads?
Not furniture pads, just the cardboard ones.
I don't know.
You put cardboard boxes down on the floor so as not to scuff.
Or tennis balls.
Soldering these. That's the easiest way to store them by using the least amount of space. The big leg, also known as the Rocky Mountain, goes over the second largest leg. And over here. Close. Right there. Almost. Bring it right here.
Oh, there we go.
Alright, so now these are soldered. When you bring it off the grip truck and you take it to the staging area, they're going to be like this for most of the time. Just because it takes up the least amount of space. Carry them 2 at a time, but if you throw them over your shoulder and keep throwing them over your shoulder like that, you can carry 4 or 5 easily. So you want to try it? Okay, when you carry sandbags, if you carry them in one hand each, you can only carry 2 at a time. But an easier way to carry them is to throw them over your shoulder like this. And you can carry 3, 4, 5, or 6 pretty easily. Alright, so this is a C-stand right here, as I previously told you. The thing about the C-stands is that they work with weight. So if you bring the weight down this way, it'll tighten, and if you bring the weight this way, it'll loosen. So whenever you set something, you want to bring it so that the knuckle is on the right, so that if it goes downwards, it's going to tighten instead of loosen. So if I had a flag, if someone could grab me a double net, it's a red one, right behind the tree. Remember, double nets are red, single nets are green.
Biggest fly swatter in the universe.
No doubt. Okay, so if I set this with the knuckle on the left, like so. And then the weight we're coming down, instead of tightening, it would loosen and then fall all the way down, which is dangerous. So what you want to do is, when you set it with the weight falling to the right. Now, for the legs, you always set it so that the weight falls on the tallest leg, otherwise known as the Rocky Mountain. Alright, I'll teach you why it's the Rocky Mountain in a second. So you set it right there so that the weight won't fall left or right. And then someone can hand me a sandbag, please. While you're working on a C-stand, it's generally a good idea to have one foot on it, just so it doesn't fall down. Sandbags, otherwise known as sand or beach or bags. By the way, grip language is impossible to decipher. You just throw it onto the Rocky Mountain leg, and then it's considered safe to work with, because actually probably not safe with this one. Could you hand me the green sandbag right there?
Yeah, and you have to make sure that the sandbag isn't actually touching the ground.
Exactly. The problem with CTVA LLC equipment is that we only have the wider bags, so that's a little more dangerous to work with. So it might be a good idea to double bag it by someone can hand me a black one right there. Placing another sandbag on it somewhere. Wait for it. There. Exactly, right? So the more sandbags on it, the safer it is. When you're working as a grip, if you have to think about whether it's safe or not, it probably isn't safe, and you probably have to rethink your rig. So right now, my friend Josh is setting up a 650 right now.
But wait, good sir, I have a question.
Yes.
You mentioned before that the sandbag touches the ground. That's a bad thing. Please tell me, why is that a bad thing?
Because then the center of gravity. Thank you. You really phrased that well. I really like that.
I'm very poignant.
Yeah. The purpose of sandbags is to lower the center of gravity of your rig. So when it's touching the ground, it actually isn't putting any weight on its sandbag. But when it isn't touching the ground, it'll bring down the center of gravity, and then it'll be easier to. This is your arm and head. This is your head right here. This is your gobo arm. This is the knuckle for which to place things into. So, real quick.
Can you explain why you put the Rocky Mountain first?
Oh yeah, we need to do Rocky Mountain. So, C-stands have things called Rocky Mountain legs. What you do is, if you're on a slanted surface and you don't want your C-stand to be slanted because that's a little bit unsafe, what you do is you take this knuckle right here, loosen it up, and then bring the leg up until it is safely even. Can you tell me if this is even or not? Really quick, guys.
Looks even to me.
All right. Also, like if you're putting something on stairs, obviously you can't fit 3 legs onto one step. So you put 2 legs on the lower step, and the Rocky Mountain up on the higher step. Now it's not going to be as stable as with the Rocky Mountain down at the bottom, but stable enough to hold the light.
Student film sets are really interesting because you have a lot to do and not a lot to do it with. So those are the places where like the most ingenuity is needed. Yeah. All right. So right now, what Josh is doing
Please
is.
call me Scott.
So sorry. What Josh is doing right now is he's setting up a light. This is 650 right here. They're on baby stands. So you have baby stands and C-stands right here. Baby stands are just your regular 3 tripod ones. When you set up baby stands, a baby stand, you bring it out until these legs right here are parallel with the ground. That's the safest. And then when you place a sandbag on it, on the bigger baby stands, you can place them actually on right here, but this is too small, obviously. So in that case, I know, right? In that case, you place them in the middle right there. All right. These are a little safer than C-stands because the weight is distributed evenly in 120 degrees. I don't know. It's just a little safer. So if you have to ration, you usually put the sandbags on the C-stands before you put them on the baby stands.
Refer to these lights as being 650 or 1K or 2K. Now, can you explain what that means?
Okay, that is, calling something a 650, a 1K, or a 2K denotes how much wattage it pulls. Got that? So 650 will throw less light than a 1K, a 2K will throw more light than a 1K. It's just a denomination of power.
But be aware, now our stuff, it's relamped for you and it should be fine, but when you get professional stuff or maybe even CTVA stuff, is the number written on the side of this. You always write your numbers big on the side. Moles or Richardson have it on a little plaque on the back that's kind of hard to find. And but you won't always find the same wattage that's printed there.
Okay.
Because you can always lamp down, which means I can put in this unit, I can put a 650 watt lamp or anything smaller that fits into this receptacle. Now you don't want to go over because then you overload the wiring of the light and then you have electrical fire, electrical hazard, etc. Not fun. This is a flag. This is a solid. That's pretty much, a flag is pretty much anything solid. Some people sometimes call the nets a flag, but that's kind of wrong. So at least in our application, a flag is a solid. It's black. It's what I used the first time. Your net, you have multiple kinds of nets. You have a single, which is usually green. This one, for some reason, is white. You have a double, which is red. These are called nets. You sometimes have a triple. Then you have silks, which basically looks like this, but it has a solid piece of silk across it. The CTVA department has these. We do not in the LLC. And that serves to soften the light.
So right here we have the C-stand set so that we're cutting off the light right here. One of the big problems is that there's a really pointy object right here at base level. So a really quick fix for this is to just stick a water bottle in.
A lot of people like to do it this way. They put the big flag there. Then they put the next size flags down and down. What's wrong with this picture?
Putting tension on the nets.
Yes, good. And that's how you end up with that. And stuff like that. Or just stretched out nets. So, are you guys able to see me okay? Okay. So instead, do it in reverse. Put the smallest one closest to the wall, or in its own separate pile. Preferably not a C-stand. Then you put your next size up, and then your next size up. Or, put large there, and then small there. If only if the large one is a flag or something with support on this side. Otherwise, you stretch out this side and make it look like this one.
Go counterclockwise. I prefer clockwise. So when you go clockwise, don't bring it over the cable. Just bring it to the right of the cable. So always grab some slack, bring it clockwise, like so. And then almost at the end of this cable. So once you have it right here, there's a little piece of rope right here, and that'll allow you to tie it off. You do something called a quick release. I'll show you that in a second. But if you've done it right, you should be able to throw it out.
Yeah, let's get the cord in things a little bit. What do you want to use this one?
Okay, no, it's the bottom.
It all depends on